Hello and welcome back to Sin.bc, and what a journey it was. It is now 14:11, just 10 past 2 in the afternoon, dinner time, somewhere around there. And I'm home again! Woo! And I'm super happy that the schedule thing actually worked. I know that I might sound a bit like not a bit mal, as you say in France. No, you don't. Probably. I'm butchering the language. Mal. A bit sick, probably because I'm coming down with not the flu, but like with a cold, I would say. Unfortunate if it sounds weird. Well, yeah, I'm super happy about the trip. I'm gonna dissect it into parts going into this, but just wanted to start with saying that it was so amazing that the schedule thing worked and that I didn't have to think about uploading stuff each and every day because, as you will know, as you will hear now, I didn't have the time. Like seriously, we had no time doing anything. Like we did, or rather, we did so many things that I had no alone time during this entire trip. So, what does it mean? Basically, it means that we went up at I don't even know 2 something like that. I will incorporate a clip that I did in the morning before I left that I was going to have in the video of my the Netherlands weekend trip. We'll see if it makes it in there. Otherwise, I will at least have it on the in the end of this video. And I think I went up at 2 or something, and I had slept for 3 hours, and it was the worst thing ever. I was so tired. And why do you might ask? Why might ask? Why did you go up at 2 and just slept for 3 hours? Well, because we had a 2015 class the day before, so we left school at 8:15 or 8:30 or something like that in the evening. And I took the tram home. I packed my stuff because I hadn't done that yet, and then I went to sleep. So I slept for 3 hours, went up at 2. But why at 2? Why so early? I thought your flight went at like 6 or something. Well, that is true, but there was no Ubers, there were no taxis that we could get hold of anyway because we needed to speak French and we didn't. Problems, you know. And then the trams and the buses didn't go either. So we came up with this brilliant idea that we should walk all the way to the airport. Yeah, and so we did. Like we did walk. But it was so exhausting. We were really tired. It was kind of fun in a way. We followed the Google Maps that my mate used. Unfortunately, he didn't quite look at the roads, so at one point we were on our way to go down to the motorway, on the motorway, because there were no cars out, so we didn't know where we were, kind of. So we just walking down there, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a sign that says motorway, and my mate was like, oh yeah, it is. You're right. Okay, we should probably not go here. So we walked like at the side of the street, like for a long while. Well, anyway, just to say that we didn't get lost at any point. We were close to getting lost a few times on our way, but we made it all the way there, and we were there like 5:15. And then we took the flight. We landed in Amsterdam at around 7:50 at 8, something like that. Took the train quite quickly from the airport to the train station outside Amsterdam, and then we walked for an hour to get into Amsterdam, and it was such a beautiful city. I mean, totally recommend going there. The architecture is like a mixture, in my opinion, you know, based on my experience. I would say that the architecture is a lot like a mixture from south of Germany and Austria or something like that, or Switzerland maybe. It was really, really pretty, and it looked structured. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but it looked really powerful and really structured. Hopefully there will be some of those videos in the video coming up pretty soon, hopefully in a few days approximately, I would say. So we walked an hour, and we passed every block we passed. I just stopped and said, this is really pretty, this is beautiful, and my mate was just like, yeah, I know. And quite a funny thing as well, when we actually landed or when we got to Amsterdam, to the fringe of it, to the train station, I made a comment that, oh, there's lots of people on bikes here in the Netherlands. And my mate was just like, what, you didn't know? And I was like, I didn't know what? And he was like, they're known for their bicycling, you know. And I was like, no, I didn't. Isn't that Paris? And apparently no, the Netherlands is apparently so flat that everybody is bicycling all over the place. And the people that we met there as well, and my friends from from my home university in Sweden that study there at the moment, the people we went to see, they also said that people are bicycling all over the place. People don't use cars in the same way that we do here in Bordeaux or in France or in Sweden for that matter. But there's a lot of people who are bicycling. And we were there in November, middle of November, and it was really cold. It was like -1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, something like that. And people were still bicycling. So props to them. I probably would though. I probably would. It would be inconvenient, but working out. But yeah, so that was quite funny. I had no idea that that was a thing, and you might know that. See now that I'm not up to speed with the entire, recording stuff, and I'm out of energy because we just got home yesterday and slept for like 12 hours today, so I haven't woken up yet. But yeah, and then we went into the city. We looked around. We saw, Anne Frank. We saw the Van Gogh Museum. We saw other museums. We saw lots of cool stuff. We saw church after church after goddamn church, just like here. There are churches everywhere, and we saw something that I thought was really cool that I can't quite remember. That's bad in a way. Oh yeah, the Heineken experience. The Heineken experience is really cool. So we went to the Heineken brewery, and I thought, like, why not? While we're here, I can ask for internships. Woo! I know that I've said Blizzard all this time, and I really want to go to Blizzard. I mean, fingers crossed I'll go to Blizzard. But if I don't, there's good to have a backup story, a backup idea, sort of. So I asked around for how to apply for an internship there, and I got a card. So going to try and send an email referred to the link, like to what I did there. So this was a bit of a networking trip as well, establishing new relationships. But yeah, it was all fine, all good. But then we went from Amsterdam basically to Groningen. We took 3 different trains, I think. It was crazy. It was night. It was no direct trains that went there because we just missed the last one or something like that. Or the next one wasn't until in 2 hours. But yeah, we went to Groningen. However, I'm butchering another language. Isn't that nice? Isn't that beautiful? But yeah, so we went to Groningen. It was all nice. It was all fine. It was all dandy. But unfortunately, except for one thing, that when we actually got there, we sat up until like 3 in the morning, and at that point, I had slept 3 hours in the latest 48 hours or something like that. So the latest 48 hours of my life, I'd slept like 3 hours, and I was like, this is crap. But it was all fine. And in the end, and then we slept, and we woke up at 2 a.m. or something, or 2 p.m. or something like that the next day. And the people we went there to see, they were like, "Oh my God, we're sleeping off the entire day. You guys have so much to see." And then we ran around in Groningen, which turned out to be a pretty small city. It's a pretty condensed city. It's bigger than my home university, smaller than Bordeaux's, but the city it's very condensed. So it feels like a city that's very alive and a very big city, even though it's kind of small because it's so condensed. So it was kind of fun walking around there. They had this marketplace and stuff, and then we tried out some stuff at their coffee shops because it's legal there. It's allowed. That was an experience. I didn't quite like it, to be honest. It wasn't anything wrong with it. It's just that I don't drink alcohol either. I'm not that big of a fan of it. I think that if I would be a fan of alcohol, I would probably skip alcohol for the coffee shops all day of the week. But since I'm not a fan of either of them, felt like it was kind of meh for me. But that's just my personal experience. I'm sure that everybody else has a different opinion about that, but that's my opinion at least about the trip, or about that aspect of the trip. And then the last day, we just went up, had a bit of breakfast, and then went to the train station. But the trains didn't go on Sundays, so we had to take a bus to another train station and take a train from there to the airport, and then the flight was delayed, so we had to wait 2 hours for the flight. And then when we got on the flight, we went back here, and then we had to wait for the bus that was delayed as well. So it was really exhausting to actually get home. At least we didn't have to walk from the airport to Bordeaux this time, but there was actually a bus going. But still, we had to wait for the bus because the bus that was supposed to be there was delayed. It was only 10-20 minutes, but still kind of irritating. We went in, I grabbed the burger because I hadn't eaten on the entire Sunday except for the small breakfast I had right before the train station. That was at that point in time, like 11 hours before I went to McDonald's and grabbed the burger. So I was kind of hungry. Went back home here and it was all fine. I was just feeling like I'm home. Yay! And quite an interesting point as well. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but the more I'm going abroad, the more I feel at home in this apartment. Even though I've only been there for like 3 or 4 months or something like that. I feel more at home here every time I come back here from being abroad in another country, which is quite interesting. It's quite amazing actually to feel that I'm home feeling, even though I haven't been there for such a long while. But yeah, it was amazing that the schedule thing worked. So sum up. The schedule thing, amazing that it worked. That I didn't have to care about it. We did stuff all of the time. I had no time to like slow down or really reflect or think about what I did. So that's what I'm going to do now, and the entire trip is going to sink in now once I've, am able to slow down, let's say. It was really amazing meeting me mates from my own university, going with me mate from here to the Netherlands, even though the trip was kind of rocky both there and back. But still, splendid experience. I'm really happy I was in Amsterdam, because trying out the coffee shops just because of the experience, and being there because of the beautiful architecture, since I was an architecture student at one point. So yeah, overall, I would give the trip, I don't know, the highest. No, but if I would rate my trip so far, I would say it's Paris, even though you didn't know me then. I hadn't started with this yet. So it was Paris, Barcelona, the Netherlands, and then my own trip. Not that I love to be alone, but it was so many amazing things I did during that trip, which was awesome. So that's how I would rate my trips so far, bottom to tops, let's say, even though I went in the other order. So have a nice one, mates, and tomorrow we'll discuss business again, because this feels like it's not my type of video. I would like to get into the nitty-gritty of psychology and business and management and economics. So we're back in that tomorrow, mates. Have a nice one, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's 2 o'clock. I've slept for like 3 hours. Yay. Now it's time. Woo! Amsterdam.